QuickBooks Online 2021. Customize invoice, taking a look at the settings within the design tab for the formatting of the invoice. Let's get into it with Intuit's QuickBooks Online 2021. Here we are in our QuickBooks Online practice file, taking a look at the formatting of an invoice, remembering that the invoice is the form that we would be using in order to bill the client, in essence having work being done for which we have not yet received payment. Then we send out the invoice, which would be to the customer, a bill to them, an invoice to us. Let's open up just a standard invoice to take a look at it. We're going to go to the new drop down, take a look at an invoice. This would be the format of the invoice before we do anything, just has the default formatting with it. I'm just going to add, say, a customer here. We'll add an item down below. I'm going to say item 1. I'm just going to add a random inventory item so that we can then take a look at what this will look like. Let's put a rate of $100. And then we're going to go down here and do the preview. Note that the data input will often look pretty much the same, whether we're using a custom template or not, because the data input fields are designed for the input to be as easy as possible. To see the difference between the templates for an invoice, then you want to go to the print and preview item, and then you can go to the print or preview here, and now you'll take a look at what the invoice will look like when provided then to somebody else. So here is our standard invoice. We haven't done anything special to it in order to customize the invoice. So then let's close this back out. Note that if you had different invoices that you had customized, you can go to the customize here and then select the different invoices, or you can go to the new style or edit from this section as well if you have an invoice that you're looking at. But I'm going to close this back out and go to the location to customize an invoice by going to the cog up top, and then in your company, we're going to go into the custom invoices. So we want the custom forms, I should say. Custom form styles, so under your company, custom form styles. And then I'm going to close the hamburger up top so we have a little bit more room. I'm going to go to the drop down. Notice we of course have the standard form here. That's going to be the standard. I'm going to go up top and edit it. We don't typically want to edit, of course, the standard here. You may not even be able to edit the standard, but we're going to create another invoice and look at the customization options that are kind of built into QuickBooks, which will make it somewhat restrictive, but those restrictions make it easier for us to standardize. So we have the design tab up top, then the content information, and then email information. We're going to be starting off focusing in on the design area. We'll take a look at the content and emails in future presentations. So the design area up top. So we have my invoice template. You can customize the template name, so that we'll just call it template 1. Let's say template 1. I'll customize this as template numero uno. And then we have the dive in with a template, add your unique logo. We can change the colors, get choosy with your font, and when in doubt, print it out. And that's like the margins down here. So let's check those out. I'm going to dive in with the template. They give us some kind of standard layouts that we could then be using. So we have the first one with the airy new template, and obviously it gives you an example on the right-hand side that we can then compare with. Then we've got the airy classic, the classic airy one, and then we've got the modern look, and then we've got the fresh look over here, and then bold, which gives you kind of that background, and then the friendly look. So there we have our change-ups that we can then be choosing. So once you pick kind of one of these, what are there, 6 of them? I think there's 6. Then you can then go down to the other options. So you're going to choose one of these. Let's go with the friendly. And then we're going to add the unique logo. So then we might want to add a logo to it. This will be kind of a custom area to add the logo, and then gives us some options for formatting that logo. Obviously, the logo will be something specific to your company. So I'm going to add this thing. I just chose the picture of this thing here. I'm going to add that. So I'm going to save that, bring that on in. And so there we have our logo. It kind of changed the colors for us as well. Notice it's I believe, trying to customize the colors to some item in the logo, which is kind of nice that it was able to do that. We do have some more formatting we could do with the logo. We can make it small. We can make it medium. We can make it large. We can hide the logo if we want to, or show the logo. We'll keep it large, and we can left align it we can middle align it, or we can right align it. So the defaults are the right alignment and large. Notice again, I'm kind of impressed that it did change the color automatically for us, but of course you can then change the color here to some type of custom color. Obviously we have the options on the right hand side, and these will change the color. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. These will change the colors here. So these will adjust the colors, and you can see the color of the formattings here. Now, now I'd kind of like it to go back to that yellow. So what I'm gonna try to do is go back to my logo up top and see if I can add the logo again and see if it then picks up then it changes the color back and kind of ties it into the logo. So that's pretty nice deal. And so then we're going to go down to the font selection. So we have our different fonts that we can be taking a look at. We don't have a whole lot of options for the fonts, so notice you are somewhat limited. But again, those limitations make it easier to customize at the same time. So let's choose like a different font just for the fun of it. See if I can even tell that it's different, because I'm not like really good at the different fonts. But yeah, that looks different. That looks nice. And then you can change the size. Not a whole lot of options once again, but you then have some customization there. Then you can change the format of the borders. So this is basically the page margins, top, left, bottom, right, that you can adjust if you want to have more space. Again, top, left, right on the bottom. So you can also fit print form with pay stub in window envelope, or use letterhead paper. So you can choose one of these items if you so choose as well, which might be useful if those are going to be applicable. Otherwise, I would think the best option usually is to reset the margins. You can preview this then, so I can check out the preview. So if we preview it down here and open up the preview, then we've got what it looks like in terms of the preview layout. Obviously, you can zoom in to the PDF on the preview so you can get a better look and feel of it. If I close this then back out, we could then adjust the margins. Now, you might be restricted to some degree to adjust them. You might have to go in and maybe adjust some of these columns to give you some room to make any adjustments to the margins and whatnot. We'll take a look at some more of those options when we get to the content and the email information. Let's go ahead and say done for now, and we'll come back in and do some more editing later. I'm going to say done down here. And then if we go into our samples, if I go back up top and say, let's go to the cog again, and go to, well, hold on a second. QuickBooks is thinking. So there it is. There's our template. So once again, that would be in the cog, and then we're going to go to the custom form styles, and that would then take us then to our template. Now we got the template and the standard. Now just to see the difference when we actually make the invoice now, if we go then to the opening up an invoice, so we'll open up then the invoice here. Now note that some of the fields may change in the data input for the invoice, but you're not going to get the full feel of the look and feel of the invoice until you preview it in terms of like colors and that type of thing. So the data input fields could change, but again, you're not going to get the full look of any change until you actually print it. So I'm going to just choose a couple items here and see if that's enough to just preview. And then down here in the customizing area, notice it's defaulting to standard. I want to then go to template 1. So I'm going to go then on over to template 1, and then let's take a look at it. I want to say print and preview. Let's go ahead and preview it at this point in time with basically a real live type of invoice as if we were to generate one. And so there we have our invoice basically generated for it. So closing this back out, that's what we have thus far. If we wanted to continue to adjust this thing, once again, one way we could do it at least, we can go to the cog up top. We can go to the custom form styles. There's our template. We can then go into the editing field. We could preview it. We can preview as a PDF. We can rename it. We can delete it. We can make it as the default. Once we make this one our standard form, we can make it as the default so we don't have to switch it every time we go in there, which is nice. And then, of course, we can go back into the editing as we will do in the future, continuing on to the content and then emails sections in following presentations.